Hello, everyone. My name is Milton. I'm a recent graduate of devCodeCamp's 12-week full-stack developer program. Prior to attending this program, I would say that I possess very minimal knowledge as a developer. While serving active duty in the United States military, I actually began teaching myself how to code. And at that time, a lot of those applications were very rudimentary, very basic, predominantly at the console log level. After separating from the military, I decided to stay in Europe, where I currently live in Germany, and began pursuing college full-time, majoring in computer science, which then led to me starting a German apprenticeship with a German company here in Germany. Today, I'm excited to share with you my Capstone project. Now, the Capstone project is geared towards our last 2 weeks here in devCodeCamp. And it's a project that is built over the course of a 10-day sprint. Now, early on in that process, we're told to identify a problem in society and essentially develop a solution that rectifies that problem in society. So this project was built using all the tools, all the knowledge gained over this 12-week period here in devCodeCamp, and I'm super excited to share it with you. And I hope that you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. So let's dive in. So our application is called Muse. And Muse is an application for helping artists, musicians, tourists, or just your general traveler. As a fellow musician and traveler, the process was to create a platform that would not only just give end users more creative empowerment, but if we look at the data as far as last year's market cap, independent artists and labels collectively were responsible for more than 27% of the entire entertainment revenue stream. And the projections are that that number is going to continue to increase. So essentially, we are creating a platform where the artists can pursue more creative freedom and more creative independence. Next, I'm going to dive into the technologies that were used with creating this application. So for building this application, I'm using MongoDB for my database model, as well as Express for my controller and routes, in addition to Mongoose for my middleware, and Node for managing those dependencies throughout my application. On the front end, on the client side, I'm using React+Redux. Redux I'm using for maintaining basically the continuity and management of the application state variable rendering throughout my application. For the overall styling of the application, I'm using Material UI, Bootstrap, and CSS, and a few other styling frameworks. The other technologies that we use in my application are Stripe API, Google Maps API, as well as Postman. Postman I used to actually test those APIs to ensure that I was getting data back. And then Axios is being used internally within my application to make API calls to those APIs as well. So I'm excited to actually show you the walkthrough of my application. So upon the user actually arriving at our home site, this is our landing page. And to demonstrate the functionality of the entire site, I'm showing a mobile view as well as a normal desktop view here. Now, at our very top, we have navigation between the page. The user can also register, so go to registration. The user has the possibility to register as a buyer or seller. But what I've done right now is that prior to this video, I've created users for the account. So we're going to log in. And before we go to log in, I just want to go back to the home page to kind of show you our feed window. Now, our feed window is just basically showing to the user of all the events that we currently have being hosted on our site here. So we'll go ahead and go through those events. And we see that the user can register for as a band, open mic possibilities, auditions, even down to the wedding venues. And we'll look at the mobile view just to show that the functionality is the same. And we'll go ahead and log in. And I'm going to show the seller view as well as just a normal user view. So for the seller, we're going to be using Jim. And for the general user, we're going to be using Rob. So when we get to the seller view, we'll notice that the seller has the possibility of viewing the current balance of the funds that they've made with our on our platform here. And we'll notice that, Jim has done exceptionally well. And at any point, Jim can actually, look at the possibility of withdrawing his funds from his account. In Jim's view, he has the possibility to manage his inventory, as well as look at his different type of events that he has on our platform, as well as being able to actually add more events. So if we scroll down here, we'll see that Jim has about 3 events, ranging from art, expos, to festivals, to other single performances that he has being offered as an event manager. So at any time, let's say Jim wants to make revisions, there could be a change in the headliner, just go into edit. Just to demonstrate this here, we'll say that Robert, our user, has now moved up in the world and he's going to be headlining that event. So we'll go ahead and save that. And we'll get a notification saying that that's been updated. Go ahead and exit out of that, and we'll go back to the dashboard view. We'll look at his inventory again, and we'll see that that's been updated here as well. But just to kind of reinforce that whole CRUD operation here, he can also have the possibility, say he wants to delete that event entirely. So if he wants to, not just create an event, but if he wants to update or delete it, he can actually get rid of it. So let's say he wants to delete that event. Go ahead and delete it, and we'll get a notification saying, would you like to proceed? We'll go ahead and say, okay. And that has been updated immediately. We'll go ahead and exit out of that. And then just to highlight some of the key functionality of our site, let's say that Robert, he's scheduled to perform at one of these events and he can't make it, or he's running late. Or Jim might want to say, okay, hey, Rob, the event isn't going to happen anymore. So we have what's called our real-time chat, which is implemented with the chat engine IO. The UI, as well as the user interface, is actually created with the chat engine. Just a minor styling that was done to just kind of get the point across here. For every user that registers with our platform, a new instance of their chat is added. So they're automatically added to our social chat, where all the artists, musicians, and general users could actually communicate, bounce ideas off each other, or just collaborate. So just to give a demonstration of that, as you can see, I've been using this a lot. I've really been enjoying the ability to be able to communicate between 2 people on my platform here. So we'll go ahead and say, in Rob's case, we'll say, hi. We'll see that Jim gets that notification, hey, Rob has just said hi. And Jim will say hi back, okay? And we'll see, as well as Rob gets that notification too. Another area I want to point out is that we have what's called our chat with support, right? So let's say there's a discrepancy or some type of issue that privately they would like to resolve on their own, and they don't want to be on the social chat for that. So the only thing that Rob has to do, or in Jim's case, he can come here and search anyone who's booked an event with him, any property that a user has actually managed to book with him, and he'll just do a general search and he'll find that Rob is actually one of his customers. He can just select Rob at any point and he'll add him to the chat, and then they could also start chatting and figuring out a solution to Rob's problem. And we'll go back to our dashboard here for the seller view. And as I mentioned earlier, at any point, Rob could, or Jim, could actually look for the possibility of looking, can I withdraw my funds? Are they available for withdrawal? Now, in our process, anytime a user registers on our platform, we pay out weekly. So he still can actually go to the process of withdrawing the funds from his account. And once he clicks, he'll be redirected to Stripe to not only just view his current balance, but see if there's a notification or anything that he can withdraw that fund. And so we'll go to his account view. He can actually make updates. His account could change, or any type of information can be updated here through Stripe. So we'll go back and we'll return back to that view. And we'll go back to the user options. Now, let's say that, Robert, he's not a musician. He could just be a traveler who just found our platform unique. And, he's a hobbyist musician, and he just wants to be able to connect with other musicians for ideas, inspiration. But he's also a traveler. And so Rob is traveling with his family, and he wants to find, a museum. So we'll say, okay, find location. Once we click define location, we'll get a notification, of course. Would you like us to use your location, which is being implemented by the Google API? We'll say, okay, allow, and we'll go ahead and allow that. And we'll say he's looking for an attractions. And we'll go ahead and type. And this is being auto-populated by the Google Maps, Google Places API. And so in his case, he'll get a different list of all the different attractions that are offered in his area. He could also be in London. We'll say London. Go to the UK. And we'll see that that's updated here as well. So not only does he have the possibility to look for different attractions, different lodging possibilities, but we also can filter through that data. So let's say he wants an attraction, let's say anything above 4.5. So we'll wait for that to refresh and we'll say, give me all attractions that are above 4.5. So look, we get the School of Rock, and guess what? We're taking the family to the School of Rock. And so if we wanted to get more information and details on certain attractions, we could just simply come here and we'll go to the website and we'll be redirected to that site's platform to actually get more in-depth information that is not provided on our site at this time. So we'll close this out and we'll go back to our home view where we began this journey. And this is where we will close out. Thank you for your time and attention. Should you have any feedback on how to make this application better, I'm more than welcome it. I'm always looking for different innovation, different thought process of how to make this application great. I've enjoyed what I've built over this 10-day sprint here at devCodeCamp. Thank you tremendously to the team here. You have been greatly influential in my career as I begin my journey as a developer, and thank you so much.